friends. Our speaker today is Mr. G D Sharma. Now, can you guess his age?
70.
He's 56. I wouldn't have imagined, because he seems to be in his 40s, and he says it's because he keeps energetic, and that accounts for his liveliness and vibrancy and youthfulness. Now, he is one of India's leading HR specialists. He has a master's degree in HR from the Tata Institute of Social Sciences, where he won the gold medal for the best outgoing student of 1979. He has over 32 years of experience across diverse industries. He now runs his own HR consultancy firm, Beeline HR Advisory. He served earlier as President Human Resources with BGR Energy Systems, which is a power sector company. He was also Vice President and HR Head with Larsen & Toubro. He has been with Vedanta Resources, with SRA Systems, with EID Parry, and with SPIC, where he began his career. He has been an inspirational trainer and teacher and a management consultant. He has been on the faculty of several engineering and management schools and universities. Now, his presentations at conferences and conventions are eagerly awaited. He sits on many selection and advisory panels of corporate India. He has assisted and advised IIM Ahmedabad, the CII, the Federation of Indian Chambers of Commerce and Industry, the Indian Chamber of Commerce and Industry. He has a Rotary connection. He won a Rotary Foundation Group Study Exchange Scholarship to USA and Canada in 1985. I think Rotary selected the right person. He has traveled widely on business and pleasure. He is an excellent singer, and he told me that he's about to start a Kishore Kumar club. His other hobbies are photography, networking, and writing. He has been a prolific writer in the media. He is frequently interviewed by the media and is featured in TV talk shows. Now, he'll talk to us today on personal branding.
Thank you. Office bearers and members of the Rotary Club, some of whom are friends, acquaintances as well, because of certain common connections. With your permission, I would like to be here. You might see the wrong side of me, so. But I can hear you. So thank you, Mr. Madhu. I think this particular meet, in our view, should have happened many months ago, it seems. There is a time and tide for everything, and so everything in its place, as they call it. So that's the reason why I am here today. It's indeed my pleasure to be in a Rotary Club. Very often when I go to these Rotary Clubs, it's always a kind of a reminiscent, kind of a nostalgic feeling, because I was a beneficiary of Rotary Club of Spik Nagar and the Rotary Club of Tuticorin, and I visited district then 633, which was part of Canada and part of Michigan in the US. And as a payback, I joined the Rotary Club of Spik Nagar, because that was my alma mater. I also rose to become the president of that club, and after that, of course, I have been too busy with a few other things. So let me start with this session on personal branding. Well, it's a slideshow oriented kind of a presentation, pardon me for that, but there are a lot of good things to see, so I have taken care to see that it's very colorful as well. There is some music in it and some video clips as well. So what, according to us, is branding? I mean, I would like to also use this walkway, if you don't mind. What is branding? How would you, what are some of the popular brands? Okay. I'm sure some of you are wearing it in your hands as well, is that right? Or on yourself?
Rotary is a brand.
Rotary
is a brand, absolutely, absolutely. Oh yes. Colgate, of course, is the most.
Top brands have been like ITC.
Oh yeah. Companies, but then they have brands as well. ITC itself is also a brand, because it's a very well received. It's a brand in the stock market at least. Godrej. I mean, you name it and you have so much of it around you. So this slide is for me, in the sense that it says that I'm a very popular business speaker. I can talk for 90 minutes without actually saying anything. That way nobody feels guilty or ashamed for not paying attention, and that's good for morale. So that's actually for me. So I clear my ground and start, you know. So what they say is that a brand is a promise. A brand holds the promise of some quality or aspects of excellence. And therefore it communicates certain features, you know. It communicates certain features. Actually, right from Egmore to this hotel where I was just behind a BMW 5 Series car. Right, I was actually tagging right behind it, more because I kept admiring it for its color and for its sheer look and things like that. So there is a very beautiful way of describing and contrasting a Mercedes-Benz and a BMW, they say. They say that if you are in a Mercedes-Benz, people see who is in the back seat. And if you are in the BMW, people see who is in the driver's seat. So that's how it seems they describe a BMW and a Mercedes-Benz. So it distinguishes, I mean, a brand distinguishes itself from everything else. It actually stands out. And it's a recall, just as you can say Godrej or Tata's for its. And behind this brand, there is a value attached to it. When you say Tata's, it's a brand, all right, but when you say Tata's, I'm sure you know what I mean. And when you say Godrej, certainly it's in the same genre. But when you say something else, it may not be in that same league. Yes, it has a reputation, it has delivered its quality or taste or functionality or whatever it is. It could be a Pierre Cardin pen, or it could be a Schiefer pen, or whatever it is. And so therefore, the qualities is what I think we mean when we say a brand. And so immediately you can actually juxtapose this with your personal branding and say, therefore, when we say a personal brand, say, I mean, who is a personal brand, by the way? Can you think of some names who are? Sachin, I mean, yeah. Amitabh Bachchan. Gandhi could have been, yes, he is a brand. Abdul Kalam is an icon, is a brand, yes, absolutely. Why today Dhoni is a cool cucumber captain, they call him, the CCC they call him, isn't it? So he is considered to be a very cool-headed captain who keeps his cool and takes the best or gets the best out of his team, and has I think records and achievements have spoken more than he has spoken ever, I think. So his feats and his accomplishments have actually preceded him, you know. And so therefore we are talking of something that is unique. And so I would not escape from a BMW logo, it looks like. So I mean, it's a Starbucks, it's Coke, or it's Nike, or it's Intel Insight, for example, or an Omega, which you see every time on the left and the right side of your Times of India edition. Whatever that edition it might be, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, you see one logo on the extreme left. I don't know if you have actually noticed. It says Omega Seamaster, or it says Omega Lady Master, and things like that, Lady Mate and things like that. So, and this is an old logo of Philips, because I put it there because that is the first public share that I bought when I started earning. And so Philips was my first share that I really invested in. And then of course there are brands and brands. The Murugappa Group logo is not changed, it's become the red color. Murugappa Group to project more vibrancy and so on. And then of course the middle section talks about all that the women like to carry in their hands, which is the Fendi and the Prada and the Dolce and Gabbana kind of names. And these are all today, if you go to any of these big malls, I think you have exclusive shops crying out loud, you know, and you know who walks into those shops. If you are accompanying your women, then you know they are walking into it, but you don't want to because your purse doesn't allow. Can we look at this? See this advertisement. I mean, it is just. I'm not enlarging it because. You got the whole world in his hands. You got the whole wide world in his hands. They got the whole world in his hands. They got the whole world in his hands. He got you and me, sister. That's one man carrying everything. In his hands, they got you and me, sister. In his hands, they got the whole world in his hands. Everybody clap, come on. He got the little bitty baby. In his hands, they got the little bitty baby. In his hands, they got the little bitty baby. So that's an Adidas advertisement saying impossible is nothing. And then of course this, I'm sure, not SR Madhu, but everybody else can answer this question. The initial music, you know what it is? Yeah, so I mean that is MS Vishwanathan. So I mean Madhu and people like friends here would know that there is a stamping, what we call as a mudra in Tamil. When it is Madan Mohan music, or when it is Ilayaraja, or when it is A.R. Rahman. More so when it is Naushad, for example, or when it is an R.D. Burman, or when it's an S.D. Burman with a folkish kind of a tune. You know very well that that music is O.P. Nayyar or S.D. Burman. They all have their chapa on the song, more than the singer himself, things like that, And then obviously when we say that, when we have a song which starts, you know who the singer is or what the movie is. For example, hey, you know that it is, you have to go by the side of a train, right? So you know very well that that's Kishore Kumar, and that can be only a movie song from Aradhana and so on. So this is what we mean by Aradhana, in the sense we mean that when we say Aradhana, we immediately think of the music director and then the singers and the songs and so on. So there is a brand, what is called as a recall, which in a marketing language can be explained differently, but what we mean is that when it gets associated with a person, then we say that, hey, when it comes to something in taxation, let's call Arvind Dada in Chennai kind of a thing, he is that kind of a person. Or when we say, let's look at labor laws, we have an issue in our factory, let's go to T.S. Gopalan in T. Nagar. I mean, that's it. There is a final word in labor laws, the final word in taxation, indirect taxation particularly, is Arvind Dada, who is an old family friend of ours, and I've not met him even for over a long period of time, but I know that he is there for any consultation on any matters of taxation. So that's the final word. So we are not saying that brand is for products alone or for services. We are saying that it's for personalities and for professionals and for individuals as well. And it is not about self-promotion and tactics, saying that I am so and so. We don't beat about on our chest and say I am such and such guy and things like that. It is actually more of a pull from the client side. We say that no, we want this gentleman to be heading this consulting. If we have a problem, we'll rather go to this gentleman, let him solve it for us. So he might have a firm behind him, but we want the individual and not the firm. So at the end of the day, what happens is that it's like a self-examination, a soul-searching kind of thing that we have to do. To say that what is it that I do very well, which I can continue to do. Like they say, build on your strengths. Do we have certain strengths? I'm sure all of us have we are particularly good at certain things. What is it? Can we have some examples from here? Somebody might be, I'm sure, very good at organizing. I'm sure SR Madhu should be very good at, writing, for example, or blogging today they say. I don't know, but or somebody is very good at
organization,
event management. When it comes to a wedding at home or a Rotary function or a Diwali kind of a thing that you have to organize for your club or for your association. You will just put the thing on him, say he will do it, give it to him and he will mastermind it well and he will organize it well and so on. What else does it come? In fact, the objectives of the Rotary Club, which was read out, the second objective actually talks about professional excellence and recognizing the differentiation in the professions, respecting the professions for what they are. And that's why you have these professional classification in the Rotary, meaning that we have to have every profession represented. And so when we think of yes madam, you were saying.
I was just telling you about troubleshooting.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, wonderful. Oh, that's a niche specialization. That you have a problem, go to madam, she will kind of crack it. Kind of a thing, And then of course, when it comes to things like you want somebody to help, I think somebody was offering, many directors have come forward and said, if you know of any hospital or a body which requires help, please do suggest. Now when it comes to helping people, I'm sure there are, almost all of you are here because of your network, because of your connections. Connections not in the wrong sense. I mean, in terms of being able to network and get the right kind of result obtained. As you might know somebody in the government, you might know somebody in the educational system, you might know somebody in a large NGO which could actually come here and partner with your club to do a particular activity and so on. So these are what are actually nothing but the brand working. Individual brand starts showing or demonstrating the results that he or she can actually produce. I think that's the key. Forget the text on the slide. Tom Peters way back in 1997 actually talked about personal branding, and it was me actually who was talking about personal branding in Chennai. I have not heard or really read about anybody actually popularizing this concept. But it's very, very essential today in an organization, particularly some of you who are in large organizations would know that when we take hundreds and hundreds of management trainees, graduate engineer trainees and chartered accountants and young professionals and so on, there are a few of them, say 5, 6 out of every 100 who actually would like to be different. They are very good organizers, they will go beyond the call of duty to get certain things done, they will show initiative, and I'm sure you have recognized some of these boys and girls and saying, this boy or this girl has this extra thing in him or her that will eventually take the person a little farther distance than others, because he or she is doing a little much more than what you expect of others. So what is it that we bring extra into on the table in terms of what we can deliver on a job, on a particular event, be it an event management like this or any such occasion. So it is that extra ability that we bring. So sometimes personal branding also gives us the impression that perhaps being popular is what we mean by personal branding. Certainly not, because they also say that management itself is not a popularity contest. So we are not here to just do favors for our people. There are times when we have to take some hard decisions with our team members and so on. So management is actually being able to manage both the hard and the soft with equanimity, if I may say so, in terms of having the same emotional content for both and doing a equally professional job of a very hard task of maybe sacking somebody, firing somebody, or not granting an increment or a promotion to somebody, and at the same time rewarding or recognizing somebody. I think we have to do both, and that's what management is all about. So it's not certainly about being a popular manager or being a popular professional. It's also, it has something to do with being a role model so that others can emulate you, others can learn from you some certain of the good things. In fact, many of our generation, I mean, where we have children who are in their 20s and so on, and when they have to take a career choice, invariably the parents ask the friend to talk to their child, saying that, hey, tell him what is to be done. You know, he will listen to you better and so on. So over the last 1 month, which is this career season, I have probably talked to about 30 odd boys and girls saying mechanical engineering is good for you, or this particular university is good for you, or that Shiv Nadar University commencing in Delhi as a new campus and as a new venture is also good for you, and so take it up and so on. So many children, many youngsters require certain role models to look up to in terms of, and they listen to them better than perhaps their own parents and the close circle. So sometimes an external voice is much better heard, isn't it? And then of course we are certainly talking about competency in branding, in the sense that a person has to be, to begin with, a person has to be very, very good in his job, because that's a starting point for any such branding or any such popularity or so-called person becoming very known or becoming very reputed in a particular field of consulting or field of art or field of whatever it may be. So why do we say that let's say Amitabh Bachchan is a fantastic actor, or why do we say Hrithik Roshan, for example, is a fantastic actor? Because I think these people, or for that matter Surya here down in Chennai, they are all people, I think they put a lot of hard work in themselves. Hrithik Roshan, it seems, actually keeps on watching the movies of Dilip Kumar or Amitabh Bachchan or Rajendra Kumar or whoever it may be, or even Raj Kapoor and others, and keeps on and again watching them and trying to, he actually tries to imitate them. in terms of their acting skills, and that's how actually he mastered this dance. He's one of the probably the best dancer artist in Bollywood today. There could be somebody who has just come up yesterday, but I don't know that. So you have to be very good at what you do to begin with for branding, and therefore the famous, or whether you actually become famous or popular or things like that, is something quite different. So we are talking about a person or a brand, a personal brand who is well groomed, very presentable, who is well accepted as a kind of a recognizable face or recognizable individual or a recognizable personality. Of course, something like a man for all seasons. He is seen, heard everywhere and so on, socially well connected. He could be a socialite as well. And more importantly, in an organizational context, at least I have been speaking to several hundreds of HR colleagues to say that you must be visible. When you say you are an HR manager of this company, you must be seen around. You cannot be in an air-conditioned cabin sending off mails to people. In fact, I actually read in today's papers or somewhere that actually the H in HR is actually fast disappearing. And the H in HR is actually human. It's human resources. So the H is actually disappearing fast because young HR managers are not wanting to dirty their hands by going there and solving a problem on the shop floor or go to the factory site or to the project site and so on. Then they would rather send emails and think that they are actually communicating and solving human problems in organizations. And of course, like I said, T.S. Gopalan, or somebody who is actually an acclaimed authority in his field. I'm sure many of you are in business, you know what I'm talking about when it comes to labor issues and sales tax problems, excise duty issues and so on. And we actually run to the person who we believe will actually, like she said, crack the problem or bring us the good solution quickly and so on. So we are talking of people as examples to begin with from the celebrity area, from media personalities, newscasters, bureaucrats, socialites, professionals and so on. So you have names and names, like for example, you do have names like Ronoy Roy in the media personalities. I mean, I would say he's a pioneer in that field, and therefore a brand himself. Rajiv Malhotra, Rajdeep Sardesai is really one of those younger band newscasters who are extremely well received, very visible. Simran Bhargava is another one. And of course in sports, of course, you have Tiger Woods, but this was written before Tiger went into the woods, if I may say so. And then of course, a very visible name, faces where you don't need to put a name by their side. They are all known in their own fields. I am myself a great admirer of Rahul Dravid. And then of course, when it comes to industrialists like Ratan Tata and things like that, I had the great opportunity of listening to my good friend H.N. Srinivas, who is a HR director of Taj Group of Hotels. And he was narrating to us in a professional HR group that I organized in Egmore about a year ago, where he spoke about the 2611 episode in Bombay when the Taj Mahal Hotel went up in flames. He said that the first firing took place at 9:30 in the night. The first bullet was fired at 9:30 in the night. Now, in any other organization or any other group, I'm sure, I mean, the CEO will bring up to the HR and other people and say, hey, take care, Madhu, just take care of it and just keep me informed every 1 hour or half an hour. That would be the typical style of most of the, a typical industrialist group or management head. But here was this gentleman, Ratan Tata, who actually appeared on the site at 9:45. And within hours, he had actually sanctioned off a relief and rehabilitation package for people who had been victims both inside the hotel and outside. And it's a case study. So we are talking of leaders who work from values, both human and otherwise, isn't it? And so people like that, I mean, we are talking of local in Chennai, we know Mitran Devanesan, we know Randor Guy, we know P.C. Sriram, we know P.C. Ramakrishna, and of course the famous T.M. Krishna, Vogel Jayashri and Sudha Raghunathan and things like that. So they're all, naturally they're all names in their own fields, isn't it? Yes sir, you had an observation.
About,
No, I just said Diana is
Well. So I must probably put a date on my slide to say that these slides were prepared well before the 2G.
He's still a brand, you know.
popular brand and notorious brand in our
Absolutely.
I mean, he's still a brand.
So yeah, so that's true. Yes, sir.
A very important observation.
Yes.
Mukesh Ambani's name was missing.
Huh.
Because the banking is pretty old date.
No.
He's above brand.
Yeah, I didn't put it there for certain reasons, let's say. Because we have. So we are talking about a positive image of a brand. And we are talking about a long-term perspective for that individual. We are not looking at short fry in the pan or what you call flash in the pan kind of a situation. We are looking at long-term brand building. We are looking at, because if Coke or if Colgate, as somebody said, or if Godrej is there as a brand, it's not built overnight, isn't it? So it's assiduously built. It's painstakingly built inch by inch, and it takes a lot of time. And one episode somewhere can actually bring it crashing down, and So therefore, we are talking of a positive and a long-term effort in building a brand for ourselves or for as a personal brand and so on. And in a very wise and in a very judicious manner trying to project our accomplishments. Not in terms of issuing wall posters about ourselves. I mean, that's not the branding that we are talking about. And so therefore, where do you start? I always tell these youngsters that you first do a SWOT analysis of yourself. What are you good at? And what do you need to really improve in terms of qualities, competencies, skills and knowledge and whatever. And so therefore, what is it that also makes you very distinctive? Are you particularly good at something very distinctive, some skill that you have developed? And there are many youngsters who have actually become very good at certain specific aspects. They know that they have a flair for this, and so they put a passion behind it, and then they are very good in their subject, or they are very good at some particular art, or they are very good at a particular vocation or a particular hobby or a pursuit, and many have actually converted this into businesses as well. I mean, many of them are actually business ideas as well. I mean, that's how the Googles and the Twitters and the Facebooks actually started. And then of course, does that distinctive skill make us stand out in terms of, are we outstanding in that sense? That people can actually recognize us for what we are, have we built, have we delivered, has our performance proven time and again that yes, see, I am good at this, and I have repeatedly time and again proven that I am particularly very good at this, and so on. And therefore, does that become your greatest strength? And so what is that greatest strength? Let's say even some of the actors and certain players, sportsmen, they are particularly very good, let's say, with their aces in tennis, for example, or a straight drive or a square cut of G.R. Vishwanath or a late cut of G.R. Vishwanath. I mean, this is, the late cut is known by his name. I did a G.R. Vishwanath, he says. He doesn't say I did a late cut, he says I did a G.R. Vishwanath. So I think G.R. Vishwanath stands out because of his batting style and technicality, like Sunil Gavaskar or Sachin Tendulkar, for example. They all have that kind of a distinct strength, and they exploit that strength, that attitude. And so what is it that we do which adds value to our profession or to the people or to the association that we are part of? And what is it that I am very proud of, and therefore it becomes very important for me to keep doing that again and again? And can I also take credit for it? Having done it again and again and having performed and excelled and proven, can I also take credit for it? Because then I think I should shamelessly take the credit for it, because then somebody has done it, and therefore. So therefore, at the end of it, a personal brand is, what is it that you would like to stand for? Is it based on certain principles or values, or is it based on your skills that you can demonstrate, or is it based on some competence which you bring, like Madam said very rightly, that I can crack crisis. Now that cannot be taught to you in a textbook, right? It comes to her or to somebody quite naturally, and time and again he has mastered that art of cracking and becoming a crisis man, as they say, you know. And so that's what he is known for, and therefore he is a crisis manager of sorts for this club. And bring any crisis to him or her and she will solve it. And so therefore at the end of it we are talking about a unique identity, a distinctive competitive advantage, that a competitive advantage between me and my colleague, for example, between me and my peers in my profession, a well-established name, a frequently recalled name, a reputation in the so-called circles. Maybe some names are very well known in the Rotary circles, for example. You know, he is a brand. Yes, Mr. Raja in the Rotary circles, yeah, well connected to Mr. Ravindran of Sri Lanka, if I may say so, and several others. So you are well connected, you know who the office bearers are, and you are well connected in the Rotary circles, and that makes him a person who can get a conference organized or an event sponsored and so on and so forth. And so therefore, you know, again, if you talk of quizzing, for example, I mean, or if you talk of radio broadcasting, who can forget Amin Sayani, you know, for his sonorous voice and baritone voice and things like that. Or quizzing, let's say the O'Brien family in Calcutta, they are the Cadbury quiz contest, and all of them, they have been sponsoring. Harsha Bogli, of course, has mastered this craft of, you know, comparing and commentating and so on and so forth. And then of course there are examples and examples. For example, others where I put in Chennai, for example, Chinmayi, you know, she stands out among the singers. She has something extra in her, you know. She can sing Hindustani, she can sing ghazals, but she also sings good Tamil songs. Like Tata Steel says, we also make steel, kind of a thing. She's particularly very gifted. Or now Shruti Hassan is on the Taking Wings, and people like Chetan Bhagat. And the Evam Theatre, which is promoted by this Karthik Kumar, I mean, they are making waves. They are also doing corporate theatre for training and so on. And so they are bringing theatre into the office, as it were, and trying to popularize and making it into a brand. So Evam, I would consider, is a brand itself. And while I was in Larsen & Toubro, we had certain colleagues who were all known in the entire nation as being the best chief financial officer of the country, for repeatedly elected and nominated over the last 4-5 years is somebody like Mr. Devasthali. He is the CFO of L&T, for example. Now he is some person whom I admire and say how he builds his brand. I mean, he is not an Amitabh Bachchan, he is only a corporate executive, but he is so very well known in the banking community and in the financial circles and so on, that he is a brand. He is a corporate brand representing a large company like L&T and so on. One is that the success of these people is that, one, they are absolutely passionate about what they do. It could be a simple thing like cooking, or it could be a simple thing like event management or theatre, or just sheer work, and they bring loads and loads of passion into what they do. And then of course, most importantly, things like the belief. I mean, I have to have self-belief. I should not have any self-doubts. I have to have self-belief that I can do it. I mean, these are successful people. And we know that there are hundreds and hundreds of examples, like Lincoln, for example. Repeatedly at every step he has failed. And you know, so I actually wanted to show you this film clip about famous failures, just a quick one. Just 4-5 examples it tells you, including of course Lincoln.
Dismissed from drama school with a note that read, "Wasting her time. She's too shy to put her best foot forward."
Lucille Ball, the famous.
Turned down by the Decca recording company, who said, "We don't like their sound, and guitar music is on the way out." A failed soldier, farmer, and real estate agent. At 38 years old, he went to work for his father as a handyman. Cut from the high school basketball team, he went home, locked himself in his room, and cried. A teacher told him he was too stupid to learn anything, and he should go into a field where he might succeed by virtue of his pleasant personality. Fired from a newspaper because he lacked imagination and had no original ideas. His fiancée died. He failed in business twice. He had a nervous breakdown, and he was defeated in 8 elections. If you've never failed, you've never lived.
So it says, if you never fail, you have never lived. So then failures can also teach us lessons. And then of course, there is always a game plan for all of us. I mean, we have to have a small strategy behind whatever we do, whether it's building a house of our own or buying a dream house or whatever, or getting into a career or getting into education. There has to be a plan. I mean, yesterday there was a gentleman who speak to us from Michelin Tires here, which is setting up the world's largest tire manufacturing facility in Chennai. He says the kind of planning and the meticulous detailing that they do, probably it's as much as the Japanese. 75% of it is all planned.
They're the oldest company there.
Michelin, yes. I mean, Bridgestone, Michelin and Pirelli are the three big names. And so he says, so much of planning, uncle, that I am still a trainee and I have been asked to go through those plan documents before I actually go into a factory in the US and see how a tire is being manufactured. I have to first get this into my head, he says, And so strategy is necessary for us to move forward. And then of course, such successful people, of course, they know what exactly they want. I mean, a chairman of a company who is at the inflection point in terms of growth, an FMCG company in Chennai, he tells me that, Mr. Sharma, we are very clear where we want to go. He says up to 2020 I have got my plans on paper, and my entire management team knows this plan, that 2012 will do this, 2014 will do this, 2016 will do this, 18, 20. That's it. And so he says that we also know very well that we will go there based on certain values. We will not take shortcuts. We will not go the way many others might have gone. We will tread our own path. We are very clear how we want to go. So there is a strategy and they are very clear about what they will do and what they will not do in order to get there, as they say. And then of course, like even when we interview candidates, I mean, some of them are 21, 22, but the kind of energy that they display, I mean, we get frustrated asking those questions because he's just sitting there or she's just sitting there like a lump, And so, okay, can you not answer this question? He said, yes sir, I do this. Pakalam, polam, kind of a thing, pesalam, kind of a thing, But there is no energy, there is nothing coming in from inside in terms of physical vitality or whatever they call it. And so that is necessary. Otherwise, how else will you be able to inject some amount of enthusiasm to those around us? Because we cannot also be like a cooked vegetable, isn't it? So this is also part of the essential ingredients for success. And of course, this is something which we all are here. In fact, Rotary is all about networking, isn't it? We have to bond. And so I have seen myself in front of my eyes, I have seen miracles happening through contacts and through connections. And the fact that I have seen 3 or 4 people who are actually all known to me, rather they seem to be knowing my people better than me, is again an indication that the world is at the end of the day a very small place, and we all do seem to have met somewhere on the way, choti si mulaqat kind of a thing, or and we all seem to have met somewhere briefly and exchanged, and then we again come back and reborn. So this is actually at the essence of a branding exercise, if you ask me. People who are very well connected use their connections well in a very positive manner, I mean, and such people have been able to build a unique brand for themselves, and through networking that is. And then of course, being able to understand the other person, the communication, being able to empathize, being able to see the other person's point of view, I think these make you a good listener, and so that again helps you to get closer to people because they know that you are a very genuine listener rather than a person who is half the time an eye specialist, talk about myself and so he becomes an eye specialist. And that will not get us anywhere. So people who actually listen more and want to understand the other person more are actually more liked by people. This is what research has also established. And so therefore passion, belief, strategy, clarity of values, energy, bonding power, and then of course the master of communication. And this this, I think, my favorite motivational speaker is Mr. Zig Ziglar. He says that you can have everything in life that you want if you will just help enough other people get what they want. Do unto others what you would like them to do to you. And I think that's the secret of, that's what Dale Carnegie long ago said, you attitude and so on. So, is there a simple formula that some of us can work on, which is just a 4-step formula, which I personally believe is what will help us to achieve personal branding of fair amount of success. And so therefore it comes as an acronym called CLAN. It's very not clannish, but it is just that the word clan is a very easy to remember kind of thing. So the first one is, like I was just telling a few people in my organization today, that it's like a pyramid. The foundation of a pyramid, you can imagine, if it is lasting for 5,000 years so far and still going strong and weathering all the storms and the wars and the winds and the rains, and if it is still there, you can imagine what a solid foundation those pyramids must have had. And this, I think, is also at the bottom of that pyramid in terms of your competence. Whatever that your chosen profession could be, it could be a business, it could be teaching, it could be training, it could be whatever, or any art and craft and things like that. So skills, your ability, and of course the knowledge, as they say, the knowledge, skills. Of course the what is called as the grooming. Today there are finishing schools, there are finishing institutions which want to give you a presentability of a positive mental makeup do we have? How much do we carry that and pass on to others around us? There are also people who actually spread a lot of negativity around us. So many times, Dushtana Kanda, Durat Velak is something they say. So it's something like that. So when you see such a person, we also would, the vibes, it doesn't just vibe, the vibrations are not there. So you want to keep an arm's distance from that person. But there are others who actually are the other way around. They actually spread a lot of positivity and, the vibrations around them, and they have, such people have the right kind of values. They are very genuine, they are very caring, they are very original, and they have a commitment, they have a credibility, they give you their word and keep up to it. And such people also have a little longer vision of things. They have a little bit of a balance on their feet, sthita prajna or something, in terms of being able to take both the hard and the soft in the equal measure, balanced kind of people. And such people, I think, are also very, very successful. And an approach to life which is not transactional, but which is based on relationships, and very healthy and long-standing interests and hobbies. And then of course networking, which is the N in the clan, which is basically an ability to connect to people, Nokia if you will, connecting people, and at the same time with an attitude to help, not to exploit. And I think really Rotary teaches us that, because people come from different vocations, different walks of life, and we all help each other and help the Rotary also achieve its objectives, and therefore that's why Rotary is a successful organization. And there is also a philosophy in this networking which I have seen, that I am able to connect to some people more in a very, very, what shall I call it, in a very uncanny way, in the sense that suddenly you find that you are connected to that person and actually you have met him many, many years back, or that he is your relative, or he is your old long lost friend, or he is from your school, or something like that. I mean, there are very many episodes in my life which have made me realize time and again that I have to keep my antennas open when I meet people, because suddenly there can be some connection, and the connection and the link can get established very beautifully.